Class 2A, it's time to giddy up. I'm picking every single first-round matchup in a matter of minutes. Again, these are our 2A rankers predictions. These are not mine. I'm simply just reading from his, trying to bring you guys some new content. I will say, too, we're dropping all classes, predictions, or previews, depending on where your class is at, whether you're in the playoffs or whether you're in Week 9. So be sure to tune into those. And later today, we've got Talk IA Week 9. Nick Fox and I, we're going to be talking anything and everything across Iowa high school football, all classes. So if you haven't tuned into that, I recommend you to. The views have just been going up every week. We're trying to make it like a show. We're not just trying to sit there and talk. We're trying to entertain you guys and talk about some controversial stuff, bring some opinions, bring some different ideas to the table. So be sure to tune into that and let us know what you think. But here we go, Class 2A. Ton of fun here, and we're just going to rattle it off. Starting off with Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock, and Okoboji. The Lions have been on a level of their own and look to continue that this postseason. We just don't really see Okoboji keeping this close, if I'm being honest. Led by Eben and Vanderzee, the Lions are averaging almost 10 yards per rush and have 35 rushing touchdowns on the season. The Pioneers are led by junior quarterback Landon Duvall and will need to put up a lot of points to stay in this one. Our ranker is going with the top team in Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock. A fun one here. Kemper and Cherokee Washington. Cherokee Washington, undoubtedly the best 4 seed. And this is the one ranked matchup, I believe, with a 4-1 seed where we got 2 ranked teams. So ton of fun here. And our ranker says this one will be very interesting. It matches up very good in a battle-tested Cherokee team versus maybe the hottest team in the state in Kemper. Since earning the job, sophomore quarterback Brock Bating has thrown for 1,300 yards and 20 touchdowns. On the ground, the rushing game has been pretty quiet with only Case and Pierce having more than 200 yards in the season. On the other side of the field, the Braves have 3 ball carriers with more than 500 yards, but have a rather quiet passing game. So really contrasting styles here. In the end, our ranker sees Kemper being able to get enough big plays through the air and making just enough stop against the run game to come out with a win. That's a fun 1-4 matchup, though. Moving on, Meepo and Anamosa. Jackson Hutchison is the man for the Bulldogs with over 100 carries for over 700 yards. This is a defense that only allowed 7.8 points per game in district play. Austin Scranton will be the guy to watch for Anamosa. 230 carries for 1,200 yards. We expect this to be a low-scoring game due to the rushing attacks. Whichever team is able to limit big touchdown runs will move on to the second round, and I see that being Meepo on their home field. So Minneapolis is your pick here. Monticello and North Fayette Valley. While they didn't go undefeated on the regular season, Monticello did go undefeated in their class, with their only loss of the season being to 3A's Mount Vernon. The Tiger Hawks have a big win over Walk-On, in which they ran for 249 yards, including 159 from Aiden Burrow. This is a tough task trying to contain Preston Rise and his 38 total offensive touchdowns on the year. The Panthers' defense has also turned teams over 16 times. Monticello is our pick to move on to the next round. PCM and I-35. The Mustangs started the season 1-2, but have since rattled off 5 straight. Running back Adrian Robinson has run for 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns. It will be tough for a Roadrunner defense who has given up quite a few points lately to stop that trend. Mustangs over the Roadrunners. Spirit Lake and Southeast Valley. Southeast Valley has played one of the toughest schedules in 2A, having played and beaten a Greene County team who was ranked much of the season. They also tried their hand against 3 teams who have been in the top 10, Kemper, Des Moines Christian, and Roland Story. Spirit Lake has not played as tough of a schedule, but has dominated the teams that they have challenged, winning games by an average score of 43-15. Indians are our pick here over the Jaguars. Van Meter and Albia. Albia sitting right at 500 this season, but 3 of their 4 losses are playoff teams. Van Meter is looking to make it. The final game of the season has done nothing to slow down the run they are on. This one's pretty simple. It's the Bulldogs over the Blue Demons. Walk-On and Union. Walk-On has finished the season on a 4-game winning streak and set themselves to host a playoff game. The Indians have shown the quarterbacks in multiple games with Jacob Courtney and Jackson. The Indians have shown multiple quarterbacks in previous games with Jacob Courtney and Jackson Brinkman. The difference in this game will be keeping a struggling Knights off the board. Our ranker is going with Walk-On here. So all 1 seeds picked to win in round 1 according to our ranker. Moving on to the 2-3 seed line, where you kind of are gonna naturally have more competitive games. Starting with Comanche and West Burlington. Headed to Comanche to take on the Storm is the West Burlington Falcons. Comanche is led by Bryce Buckley, who has thrown for 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. On the ground, Mark Sanders is averaging 7.7 yards per carry For West Burlington, they love to throw the deep ball as Caden Schwenker is averaging 17 yards per completion. This game is going to be a battle to the end and can see either way. But for prediction purposes, our ranker says he sees Comanche controlling the running game and getting a couple big turnovers. Storm over the Falcons. Des Moines Christian, and Clarinda. This one's going to be fun. A game to watch early. Both of these teams have some big wins in the season and have spent time in our top 10 rankings. Des Moines Christian hit a rough patch getting blown up by Kemper and Roland Story, but responded with a big win against Southeast Valley. Clarinda also dropped back-to-back games during the middle of the season, but has responded with 4 straight wins. This is a game of 2 totally different styles. Des Moines Christian is going to throw the ball around the field with Tate Platt. Clarinda is looking to hand the ball off to Dominic Polesley and Carson Downey, who are both nearing 1,000 yards this season. If Platt can keep the ball out of harm's way through the air, we see Des Moines Christian making just enough big plays to pull off the minor upset on the road. Moving on to Western Christian and Esterville Lincoln Central. Western Christian has been a mainstay in the top 10 all season long and is a really good team. Unfortunately, someone had to finish third in that brutal district. So as a result, the number 7 team in the state will be hitting the road for round 1. Dual threat Owen Larson kept the Midgets in the game over Spirit Lake on senior night. ELC led 21-0 over Spirit Lake at one point and showed they could play with the top 10 team. But our ranker just doesn't really see that mattering. Caden Van, Reagan Mortar, and Tyler Mantell are going to control the game and lead their team to a win. Wolfpack over the Midgets on the road. Don't know if I'd call that an upset. Like I said, it's a ranked team heading to a non-ranked team, just how district play turns out sometimes. But let's pick the road team here and call it a mini upset if you want to. Jessup and Crestwood. Jessup is riding high on a 4-game win streak ever since their loss to PCM. Crestwood is on more of a win-loss pattern, and that will end their season if that continues. Crestwood, their rushing game features multiple running backs. The Jayhawks rely on Wyatt Vanderwerf and Ryan Treplow to control their game, as neither of these teams have much of an attack through the air. Our ranker is going with the Jayhawks and Jessup over Crestwood. Mid-Prairie and Northeast, our final team of the week was the Mid-Prairie, who had a big one over Albia to put themselves in a position to host the first round. Brady Weber is going to lead the Golden Hawks at quarterback, is going to be very consistent, completing 60% of his passes. Hudson Ehrenfeld will get the majority of the carries and is also one of the more targeted receivers. For the Rebels, Gavin Kramer, is going to do it with both his arm and his legs, having thrown for 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns while running for almost 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Nevertheless, they'll give us the Golden Hawks at home over the Rebels. New Hampton and West Marshall. West Marshall started the season at number 7 in our rankings, and things have not gone as planned for the Trojans as they find themselves traveling to New Hampton for the first round. The Chickasaws are a more battle-tested team and look to hold serve on their home field. Our ranker is picking the Chickasaws over the Trojans. Roland Story and Clark, the Norse have been the biggest surprise of the season, finding themselves ranked much of the second half of the season. Their offense has been rolling and will look to put up a lot of points. Clark has played a tough schedule, playing 3 straight ranked teams in the middle of the year. In the end, Roland Story will hold serve, give us the Norse over the Indians. West Lyon and Chlorine Goldfield Dows. West Lyon took number 1 as far as they could handle and earned themselves a number 2 seed. They're the best number 2 seed by far at this point. They will get a take on a CGD team lacking a big win this season. Bryson Childress will take care of the ball, and West Lyon defense will do what it does in shutting a team down. Give us the Wildcats over the Cowboys. Well, 2A fans, I know it was a lot of me talking. I hope you enjoyed listening to me pick every game. If we didn't pick your team, we apologize again. We're just looking to bring something different to the table. Next week, we're going to have a little bit more of an organized setup as the field shrinks. Again, we're going to go more in depth in each matchup. But right now, there's just so many games across so many classes because of so many teams making the postseason. So, Class 2A fans, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Leave a comment whether you agree, disagree, and tell me why you disagree if you do, because I want to know why. And our rankers enjoy looking at the comments. So, without further ado, 2A fans, your team makes it to next week. I'll be picking your team then, and I'll see you then. So stay safe and good luck this Friday night.